All right, buddy. Welcome back, Fantasy Endgame. Tell you what, today, let's turn $1 into 20,000. Yeah, that's right. Not kidding. I'll show you how you can do that in a second on Underdog. Right now, though, I got to tell you before I show you the lobby and we get into another contest, because it's been a couple days, honestly, getting the itch. Haven't done a best ball draft here. Almost 48 hours. That's way too long, not counting all my slow drafts I'm still in. But look, let me tell you, if you haven't tried Underdog yet, guys, got a couple of weeks left until the NFL season starts. And when it starts, you can't do the drafting anymore. So if you want some best ball leagues, you got to do them now. And let me also tell you, well, once the season starts, you'll be able to do your pick'ems, right? Pick'ems for week 1, 2, etc. You can do pick'ems right now, of course. Preseason picks, if you're into that kind of thing, picking the higher and the lower on these preseason games. You can do season long picks, my personal favorite. All right. So look right now in the lobby, you'll see all the season long NFL picks for everything: touchdowns, yards, games started, etc., offense, defense, whatever. And week 1 picks are live now. So I want to tell you before we start, anybody who doesn't have an Underdog account yet, this is the time to do it, because right now, if you are new, you can do this. You put $5 in, you get $50 in bonus cash. Yeah, you spend 5 to get 50, and then you can spend that 50 on whatever you want. It makes sense. Do it. It's free money. It literally is. And that doesn't even include the already existing offer where, you know, that if you use our promo code Endgame, you get up to $1,000 of bonus cash, and you also get a free pick 'em. So it just makes sense to do all of that. All right. So if you haven't tried Underdog yet, again, I'm going to tell you, sign up now. You get this, play $5, and you get 50. So check that out. I'm going to tell you what we're going to do now, though, because we do want to get into a draft. Promise you a draft. We're going to do it. Let's get to the draft lobby. So if you already have an Underdog account, you already know we can pick from all the options that we got here. A lot of tempting choices, but this one just opened and it's about to close because the Little Dalmatian Part 2, $1 entry, first prize gets $20,000. And even if you don't get first place overall, you could still win lots of money doing it. Let's do it right now. Let's jump in while we still can, because this is probably going to be filled like by the time tonight is over. And if you really want to max out a contest, you can, right? Increase your odds. Of course, it's the Dalmatian 101 entry max. So you can enter 101 times. If you really have the ambition to do 101 drafts, you can do auto drafts, you can do slow drafts. All right. So 101, $101 maxes this contest. I'm just going to do one for now. All right. 20 seconds per pick. Anybody who wants to jump in here with me? Guys, let's do it. All right. So the Little Dalmatian 2, and we're going to enter right now and see how quickly it fills. And it's full. And there you go. Didn't think it would take too long. So, all right, I'm at the 9. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. You know, 9 is not like my favorite, but it's also not my least favorite. So I don't mind it at all. At least I'm not stuck in the middle. Let's get you a bigger view here, and then let's get to the draft board. All right, I already see the comments. Don't worry, guys. I'm going to get to your comments real quick. Got 30 seconds left. All right. No draft lane draft today. We're going to do draft lane tomorrow, by the way. We know we've been doing draft lane drafts. We're going to continue. We've got a lot of leagues already. Oh, you sent me a trade offer. Okay, I'm going to have to check. I will check. Don't worry. But yeah, we'll do draft lane again tomorrow today, but it's been a while since we've done Underdog, so we got to get some of these in too. Yep, exactly. Prime, we're doing the dollar drafts. All right. I'll put this up. Bold takes. I never mind the bold takes. Isaiah Pacheco, RB1. And I know you probably don't mean the RB1, but an RB1. That's still pretty bold based on where he's going. Hey, we'll see. Is Genty the real deal? Is Warren the real deal? Well, Warren, I mean, I think Warren is what he is. He's fine. He's not a guy I'm going to chase in these drafts for sure. It's just more floor than ceiling. That's not what we want. So I think he's just okay. I will say I'm down on Caleb Johnson a little bit. Just that offense. I don't want too many Steelers. Just honestly, this season, just don't. All right. Anybody getting in here, by the way? This filled up super quick. I don't know if he tried. We'll see. Let me know if you got in. Okay. Oh, Kiefer's in there. Good. He says he's in there. Good. Keith Chief. I think that's you. Nice. You got one of the first picks. Okay. Neighbors. Yeah, I'll go Neighbors. I'm not too scared of the toe. I'm still going to take Neighbors, just that massive upside. Charles. Okay, that's interesting because I was talking about this with Chris the other day. He's saying an underdog. He doesn't have the NFL season long picks, but you do have week 1 picks. I think that might be based on where you are location wise. Do you happen to be in California? That's my question. It's possible because there's the thing, I don't know if you already know, going on where they were trying to basically outlaw it, or any sports they consider betting sites, including Underdog, and then they basically filed something so they could delay it, and so it's kind of in limbo, I guess, is what you could say. So, like, you're allowed to do it for now, which is why week 1 is up. I feel like they feel like something won't change until then, but season long they don't know. So honestly, I feel like that might be it. So if you are you're in Florida, okay. Well, I don't know. Maybe that's something to do with that too. But I think that's why. I think it's based on your location. All right, I'm taking Drake London here. All right. Got a minute till my next pick. So let's see. Pat. What's up, Pat? Is Higgins a top 15 receiver overall? What round do you pick Xavier Worthy? Higgins should be. The only deal with Higgins is just he's always got something right banged up. And last year he did it. He wanted to get the bag. He did it. He stayed healthy. He got paid. He's there in Cincinnati, and I'm usually a little more hesitant to buy in on guys after they get their contract, but still, he's just in such a good situation. You can't assume after a guy has had a healthy season that he will just then again get hurt. It could happen to anyone. So, I finally just decided, okay, fine. I'll be happy with Higgins. I was very much skeptical on him even last year, but yeah, the situation's too good. He is a top 15 receiver. Supposedly this offseason, he worked on some things to try to avoid injury. So, sure. Sorry about the Xavier Worthy thing. If you're asking in redraft versus best ball, in redraft, you have to knock him down a little bit. In best ball, he's going to have those spike weeks, those long touchdowns, of course. Now, the Rashee Rice news also makes it really interesting because, we already knew he was going to miss time. That's not something new, right? We already knew Rashee Rice was going to get a suspension. We knew it was going to be multiple weeks. We still don't know exactly how long. And when doesn't necessarily matter in relation to the value of the other receivers. Obviously, if it happens to be the end of the season in the fantasy playoffs that he gets suspended, that might help. That might help make Worthy or somebody else, Hollywood Brown, a little more valuable. You could look at it that way. I don't think it boosts them in a huge way, though, because we already knew, like I said, we already knew Rice was going to get suspended. I don't want to overspend on Worthy because I don't care if you want to call him the number 1, number 2, or whatever receiver in the Chiefs. You know what the Chiefs do. They spread the ball around. I feel like he's worth a top 20 receiver pick in best ball. I think he's a little bit outside of that for me in redraft. If you're talking about a 12 teamer, I wouldn't take him in round 3. Round 4, maybe late round 4 is probably where I would take him. Um, but that's just me. I tend to be a little more skeptical than others when it comes to these guys in these elite offenses that aren't necessarily going to be the guy. All right, I'm up. Yeah, I'm going to go Tet. So, like right here, still a few spots. I mean, Worthy is his ADP and underdog is 40, right? 40 overall. And so right outside round 3, I think that's fair. I would probably take him a little later than that, like I said, in a redraft league. All right, let me get my pick in here, get more questions in. Hurts, McLaurin. I mean, Worthy's there. I got 3 receivers. Hall, Cook. I think I'm gonna wait on running back. Actually, I'm gonna go Kittle here. Just more and more in on Kittle when you see the situation in San Francisco. Ayuk gonna miss maybe half the season. Jennings still out with a calf, which could be re-aggravated. So I love Pearsall, but why not just get a stud at tight end and Kittle? All right. Mark. Okay, Mark, you're saying you had your first draft, did good, could have been better. Got Saquon on Achane. Got Achane on the way back with a 3rd pick. And yeah, that's pretty good. I don't know how your receivers turned out, but still, that's a pretty good double hero RB start. So nice. Injury. What happened to Achane? Oh, right. Soft tissue. Well, so much for that. Yeah, the Lions Dolphins is going on. I haven't been keeping up with it just for my own sanity, but I'm pretty sure the Dolphins will get wrecked, right? Let's see. Let's see what's going on. No, Dolphins 24-17. Wow. Maybe the season's not over. Okay. It's preseason. Take it for what it's worth. I do honestly though, and not just as a Doll fan. I have some concerns. I have some concerns about whether the Dolphins can really put up a fight all season. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, well, Tet, I don't know that Tet needs to be a 3rd rounder. I wanted to reach in somebody a little different. I reached a few picks, not a big deal. I just, back then, let's see who else could I have gotten. I have so much Garrett Wilson, like so much Garrett Wilson, so much Mike Evans, and then Devontae Adams. I'm not out on him, but the whole Stafford thing doesn't make you feel great. So, all right, let's see here. Do I just no? It's like I could go with my Dolphin. Let's go with my league winner. Go RJ Harvey, despite the fact that he's 5th on the depth chart. Did this team after me just pick his 3rd quarterback in a row? Because if so, I'm going to be pretty upset because if he keeps doing this, it's going to cancel this draft. Like, what are you doing? It's not a superflex league. Okay, maybe we're just new at fantasy football. I don't know. Okay. Lave Depot and I'll go Swift. Okay. There we go. Back to questions. I'm looking for HN news, by the way. Let me look because y'all are talking about dealing with soft tissue injury. This just happens 13 minutes ago. Soft tissue lower body injury. That's pretty vague. Expected to be out between days and weeks. All right. Between days and weeks. Well, that doesn't mean week one is in jeopardy. There's that. I do also have a ton of Jalen Wright for what that's worth, so I'm not too sad as a fantasy football fan. We don't want Achane to be hurt, obviously, but I'm telling you, stock up on your Jalen Wright and maybe get a little bit of late last round Ollie Gordon because Madison's done for the season. There's some rumors they were going to look into Jamal Williams. I don't know if anything ever came of that. That would be, I wouldn't really worry me though. I mean, how much does he have left? And he would just be like a kind of an emergency back, I think. All right. Put this up while I move the draft board. Do you like Breece Hall? Got Braylon Allen. Yeah, I have a lot of Braylon Allen. I probably have more Braylon Allen than Breece Hall, but it's not because I think Braylon Allen is necessarily going to get more carries, score more points. It's just you can get Braylon Allen super late, and Breece Hall you got to take in round 3 or 4. I do think that there's going to be some sort of a timeshare here. And I don't feel like I'm worried about Breece Hall like getting traded or getting benched or anything crazy happening right now. I think that would have already happened. Breece Hall is still going to be the lead back. I think the offense will be fine. Let's see who I want here. Yeah, see, I knew I should have gone receiver again earlier because the receiver's here. Do I want Josh Downs or do I just take my third running back? I think I'm just going to take Downs, I guess. It's not a big difference here. Let me queue up some players. Yeah, see, I should have gone another receiver earlier, I think. So I do like Braylon Allen as a guy who's like a sneaky source, later round source of points. The bigger back, he might get some more goal line work, right? He's not going to catch a ton of passes. So he is limited. Okay, this is good. See, I waited and I still got Jordan Mason. All right, not as high as Jordan Mason as Chris is, but I still think he's fine fallback here. Yeah, Braylon Allen I think is going to be a good pickup because if Breece Hall does get hurt, he still won't be the guy. Like they'll still mix in Isaiah Davis or get somebody else, right? But I think he's a nice late round pick. Breece Hall started to get a little bit nervous about drafting him so early. Let's just put it that way. Not out. I'd rather wait. Other backs I like in the same round. Like, for example, I'm still James Cook over Breece Hall, personally. All right. Zarate. Jefferson or Lamb. Does the hammy scare you? Hammy doesn't scare me too much right now. This is still really flip a coin. I would be fine taking Lamb over Jefferson, but for the most part, I am still taking Jefferson. So this could go either way, though. What's up, Andrea? Good to see you as always. McConkey $7 or Kittle at $9 with no tight end premium. It's got to be McConkey, and not just because of the $2 discount. I still think McConkey's just the better fantasy play here. So, yeah, I'm going to go Lad there. Are you saying Tet in the third is a flag plant? Wow. Okay. No, I didn't think of it that way. But look, you got to realize this depends on what format you're in. I mean, I've done so many underdog drafts. I have, like I said, so much Garrett Wilson, so much Mike Evans. I'm like, I'm going to mix it up. I'm also shooting for the upside there, right? Like, you know what Evans is going to give you. It's going to be 1,000 yards and probably 10 touchdowns. Could McMillan do more? Yeah, I think he could. I'm not guaranteeing it, but what are we looking for? The safety or the upside? You know what I mean? So I'm big on the Carolina offense. You know, I don't mind planting the flag on Carolina and tell you what I'll do. I don't have a quarterback yet, which is not unusual for me. I'll go Bryce Young as my QB2 and not draft a third. I don't think that's a flag plant. That's just a vote of confidence. So I'll do that. Hmm. What's up, Flacco? Of course, boo the Ravens. Go Steelers. No, I actually like the Ravens a little better. Sorry. But how do you feel about Mark Andrews? Like Mark Andrews, I think you've got to be a little bit in on him now more than before with Isaiah Likely out. I know Likely's not done for the season or like half the season, but it still gives Andrews the edge early and just allows him to retain that tight end one role, which we didn't see early last season. We saw in the beginning of the year was Likely, not Andrews. Let me see. What do I want here? Hmm. Well, I didn't take Garrett Wilson, but I will take Justin Fields. And then, like I said, I'm going to wait. Well, although I say that, I don't know if waiting on any quarterback, not just that it's Bryce Young, but just having two and Fields is your first, it's a little risky, but it's okay. We can take risks. Hmm. All right, let me see here. I'm avoiding Ayuk. I'm looking for a receiver still. I think I'll take a chance on Burden. I don't feel like he's going to put up huge numbers, especially early, but I think he could have some big plays, big games. In best ball, I'll take more Burden than in redraft. So there we go. Yeah, I like Andrews overall. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why these people do what they do. I don't know. And then this guy around, let me see, the second spot. Someone says they're just going pure zero RB. No, this well, that's interesting. Okay, number two went four straight running backs and five straight receivers. He's going hyper fragile. And look, there's nothing wrong with that. That's a high risk but potentially high reward strategy. So yeah, team two has done this before. He's trying hyper fragile. Team 12 is definitely going zero RB to the extreme. He doesn't have a single running back left. Uh, he is now 10 rounds in, no running backs. We'll see how it works. I mean, that's extreme. That's extreme zero RB. Now, when you're doing these and you got $1 drafts, you know you can experiment a little bit more. So I think it's okay. Yeah, Tolu. So and I know you're in here too, by the way. I saw you're at 11, I think. Keyshawn not charged. Yeah. Does that mean I'm taking him? No. He still hasn't practiced at all with the team, hadn't even signed yet. When is he really going to be involved? And when he's involved, is he really going to be clearly the best back? I already like Dylan Sampson. I think he's just as good, honestly. I think he could be just as good, and he's there, and it's just not going to be a great offense. So I'm I'm probably not drafting Judkins like, anywhere at all, but at least we know he's not dead in the water for this year. So I'd rather wait and see if he's worth stashing, picking up on the waiver wire later. I don't think you need to draft him. It's not like he's doing anything anytime soon. You know what I mean? Okay, we have young Algae the Sauce God. All right. Who would you take out of the three, Golden, Diggs, or Olave? That's a really good question. All right. Let me get my pick in real quick. So I'm not going to miss anything here. So hold 1 second. But good question. Because those guys have been moving around in terms of rankings, especially for us. Da, da, da. Yeah, I still like Tank. I'll take Tank. I'm not worried about Etienne taking the starting job, whatever. Tutin's fine, but not too worried. All right, let me just set my queue a little bit here in 1 second. And you know what? Because I'm drafting sort of near the turn, I'm probably gonna miss Bryce Young based on where he's going. You know what? I think I am. These guys should not be taking quarterbacks. So, despite what I said, I'm going to take Penix here because I already got Drake London. Who knows? Maybe I'll mess around and take a third quarterback. Oh, never mind. See, there goes Bryce Young. I didn't get it anyways. So Golden Diggs Olave. If you asked early in the preseason, Olave was probably ranked for us somewhere in like the 60s, 70s, somewhere like that. Had Golden more like in the 90s, and then Diggs like in the hundreds. Okay, I'm talking about like a couple months ago, like earlier in the preseason. And now I think we have Golden potentially first. Got to double check. And again, rankings move all the time, right? But it's like we both came to the agreement. We know Chris and I talk, and our rankings aren't identical. But like when you see Olave in the board, you don't really want to take him. You're nervous, right? There's a point where you take him and he's going to have value, but still, you feel better about him, or do you feel better about Golden? Feel better about Golden because he's got a proven quarterback. He's in a good offense, and he's going to be, I think, most likely the number one guy. And then when Jayden Reed got hurt, again, not like he's out for the season, but still with Jayden Reed banged up coming into this year, it just got to push him up more. And nothing has changed with Olave. But also, you can't forget that last year he missed almost all the season. He's got that serious risk that another concussion just sidelines him for good, just like we were all nervous about Tua last year. Now, it didn't happen with Tua last year. It doesn't mean it won't happen with Olave. He's going to get hit more as a receiver. Every play potentially there's risk. So I think you got to feel better about Golden now. And then Diggs. Also, you got to be worried about a veteran receiver coming off a serious injury. He looks good. He's clearly the number one there. And what I was wondering is he going to be clearly the number one receiver and target there? They got Kyle Williams, right? They got other target. Kyle Williams has been kind of uneven. He wasn't a first round pick or anything like that. Nobody else has stepped up there in that offense, receiving wise. I'm talking about TreVeyon Henderson. Everyone's crazy about him, but yeah, I do feel better about Diggs now. I'm going to go Golden, Diggs, Olave. In other words, I think Golden is the pick, and that's changed. Okay, well, I guess I'll put my money where my mouth is. I'm not worried about Judkins. I'm going to take me some more Dylan Sampson, see how his ADP has fallen. But 139 down now. I got him at 153. Everyone's just out on him because Judkins. I'll take the discount here. Okay. And then Jalen Wright. I have so much Jalen Wright already. I'm not going to just start pounding him just because of Achan's little injury here. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I guess I could use a backup. Actually, no. I'm gonna take him. I'm drinking the Dante Thornton Kool-Aid. Sorry. Just it's worth a shot. Worth a shot. And yes, I'm now still even drafting Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, even where he's being drafted. And I loved it when I could get him in my last pick, and now you got to take him in the 170s. Hey, look, if this guy wins the starting job in Washington, he's worth a pick in the 170s. Let's go to Mr. Cross Examiner. What is up? And welcome back. Let me slide this down so people can see the rest of the board. All right, Dynasty team wants to know rating here. Allen and Fields and Ward. Nice. And if that's not super flex, then you've got a pretty deep quarterback group there. Flowers, Sutton, Ridley, Downs, Mims, Cooper, Coker, Kirk. Hubbard, Swift, Ford, Mason, Sanders. Okay, you got Bauer, Strain. So interesting. Your team here, your strength is at quarterback and tight end more so than running back and receiver. Now, it's nice that you have basically the number one quarterback and the number one tight end in the game. Like that's an advantage, no doubt. You don't have a number one receiver, not that I can see. And then if this is Cooper, is that sure if that's Amari Cooper? If it's Amari Cooper, you might want to drop him. Um, yeah, I would want at least a better receiver somehow. Now in Dynasty, what I'm not doing is I'm keeping Ridley because I think he's going to have a much better season than expected. He's a little bit older. I don't think you get anything from trading him. Sutton, again, I don't know what his value is. I don't mind moving on from Sutton, but he's fine too. Flowers, he's fine. You've got good, not great running backs. So overall, again, you got the advantage at two positions, quarterback and tight end, but I'd really love to have the advantage of having a stud at running back and receiver. So I can't give this more than like a 7.5. I'm trying to think if there's something you can do. I know you don't necessarily trade Josh Allen. Could you trade one like a Fields or Ward to get another good young receiver? I might think about doing that. All right, I'm on deck here. Let's see. Got 2, 5, 6, 1. Mason Taylor. Okay. Well, I'll do it. Take more JCM. That's Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt for those who don't know. Okay, and then I actually don't have. No, I'll wait. Hold on. We can reach a little bit here. At this point in the draft, it's no big deal. I do feel better about my receivers. Let's do one more running back. You know what? I'll go Woody Marks because Nick Chubb doesn't sound like he might not even make the team. Joe Mixon might not stay healthy. Who knows? Still, we'll take shots there. Oh, I still need another tight end, don't I? All right, let me grab my backup tight end here at some point. Okay. There we go. Yeah, Jordan Achane is dealing with something. They say soft tissue, lower soft tissue, very vague, days to weeks. We still have weeks until the season starts. So this might not even affect him week 1. So I wouldn't worry about it. Don't worry too much about it just yet until we hear more. Mark, what are your thoughts on Brock Purdy in the 8th round? Stream at QB, use him. I think he's fine. Look, Purdy's fine. No problem with him as my starting quarterback. Round 8, it's about right. Streaming quarterback is fine, and you can always pick up a decent quarterback, but this depends on your league, how many quarterbacks everybody drafts, because sometimes everybody takes all the backups. And so you don't want to be left, if you're streaming quarterback options are like Aaron Rodgers or one of the Colts quarterbacks, then no, I'd rather just take Brock Purdy. All right, let's do this one from Jam 23. Keeper League, 12 team. Pick 12. Can keep Jamar Chase in round 1 or Nico Collins in round 4. Yeah, that's the thing. Like I know it's Jamar Chase, like it's hard to not keep him, but you can get a first rounder with a 4th round pick. You get another first rounder with your first round pick. I know it's not the 1-1, it's the 1-12, but still, I think you got to take the value there. I think you got to go Nico. That's what I would do. What's up, Luis? Thank you. All right. Is likely Ayuk or Godwin worth ADP to stash on the IR? We're out on Ayuk. Just not doing it. Don't think you need to. Oh, did all my tight ends get taken? What the? Oh man. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna have to panic pick here. I had all these tight ends queued up, and none of them are available. And I need to pick somebody who doesn't have the same buy. Yeah, I'm not. I'm just not drafting Ayuk because we don't know how much time he's going to miss. And when he comes back, remember he will be coming back mid-season without having played. All right, so there's the rust factor. There's the question of whether he's even going to be 100% at all this year. Just so many variables there. I just don't see why it's worth it. Godwin is a little different. It's not an ACL, but also obviously they did this for a reason. And drafting Buka doesn't sound like he's ready to start the season. I think though. Oh, John Johnson, man, I waited too long. I'm back up tight end. I do think that Godwin is worth picking now that his ADP has fallen. So this depends on where you get him, right? And Godwin, we're sliding down the rankings for sure. You don't want to pick him in your first several rounds. If you can get him closer to pick 100, I think he's fine. Likely, I just don't think you need to because even if he's playing, he's still not the number one tight end there. Mark Andrews is still there. Just don't see it. So I think Godwin's the only one there who I'm really actively drafting. I can do a couple more questions. Good one. AJ Fisk, do you think QB tight ends are more valuable than a 10-teamer? Yeah, you can bump them up and you can reach a little bit to take, I don't mean reach like take them way before they're supposed to go, but you can feel more comfortable taking a quarterback, one of those elite quarterbacks early if you want to. You don't have to worry as much about the depth at running back and receiver. On the other hand, you could look at it as, well, only 10 teams are going to have a starting quarterback. I can wait and get a Purdy, a Goff, maybe a Field, somebody like that later in the draft. So it could also free you up to not even think about it till later. So this depends how the draft breaks down. But I think in general, you are right. You could view them as more valuable if they are the elite, which you take early at the appropriate time. Or you can just wait. I'm more inclined to maybe take one of those top tight ends and not worry about that position. And I'm more inclined to wait at quarterback in this draft, but that's just me. All right. This draft is done. I'm going to go over my team real quick, but I do want to do a couple more of these. Kyle Siebert audio. Josh Allen or Derrick Henry? Wow. You can't keep them both, and I'm guessing there's no difference in cost or anything here because you didn't mention it. And I also don't know if this matters how long you keep them. Let's just pretend that it doesn't matter. Just you got to pick one. I do think this matters how many keepers everybody get in your league. Like if you don't keep Josh Allen, what quarterbacks are available to you in the draft? You know what I mean? Is because I'm guessing like Jaden Daniels is going to get kept, right? Lamar Jackson's probably getting kept. So I think it kind of depends on what's out there when you draft. Obviously, people are going to keep elite running backs too. So I would generally say I would probably keep Allen here in this case, but I think that's just because I feel like he's going to be more valuable in this sense. Well, let me see if I can judge your team. Let's see. Okay. 6 keepers. Oh, wow. Yeah, so basically all these elite players are getting kept. There's not many options left. Yeah, in that case, I think I would probably keep Josh Allen. All right. Well, let's get to the actual team. Let me go over my team. And yeah, sure, Kiefer, we can go over yours too. Let me get to it. Now, this was actually show you a couple things real quick. All right. I want to remind you that you can now, as a new customer on Underdog, if you haven't done this yet, sign up. You play $5. You can do pick'ems, you can do best ball, whatever. $5 gets you $50. Yes, bonus cash goes to your account. So you spend 5, you get 50. Worth doing it. And so sign up and make sure you use code ENDGAME when you sign up, because that's going to get you up to $1,000 of bonus cash. And it's also going to get you a free pick. And go ahead and use those picks, because there's so many different options there. I'm actually going to put that at the bottom now. So there you go. Code ENDGAME. Sign up right now on Underdog, and you will get all sorts of free stuff. Let me see where this one is. This one that we just did was the Little Dalmatian 2. The Little Dalmatian 2. $1 we just spent to draft a fantasy football team. Not too bad. And it didn't take long at all. All right, so here it is. Here's my team. Let's start out by looking at the quarterbacks. Now, this is risky, I'll tell you. Fields, ton of upside, great in best ball. I only went with a second quarterback because I do feel like Penix, assuming these guys stay healthy, of course, right? If you have an injury, then okay, yeah, you might be screwed. But I think Penix is a guy who is going to be solid week in, week out, and have some spike weeks. I could have gone a third quarterback, with those two, being that I waited, but I just find it hard to take a third quarterback in best ball when I know I could take a chance on another receiver or running back that could go off. So risky, but of course, no risk it, no biscuit. Fields and Penix. At running back, I waited to get my league winner, RJ Harvey, who I'm drafting everywhere. Yep, still am. DeAndre Swift, Jordan Mason, Tank Bigsby, Samson. I'm still taking him over Judkins. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, I think now I'm obligated to just draft him everywhere possible after we put out our league winner. What was it? Our 5 must-have, or guys who could break fantasy, one of those. But we basically said Krosky-Merritt could be that guy. I believe it. And then Woody Marks. At receiver, I think I'm pretty happy with my first 3. I got Neighbors, London, and McMillan. I probably could have gone with my 4th receiver a little earlier. I will say that. I don't love the depth at my receiver because Downs, he's okay. Burden is a big maybe. Thornton is a huge maybe. The only reason I got Josh Reynolds is because I had Justin Fields, right? And he is the number 2 receiver for the Jets, technically. I probably should have, though, because I liked where I got Mason a little bit after ADP, and I think he's solid there. I probably could have just gone receiver instead of Swift or instead of Mason, though. But it is what it is. And I got Kittle. Kittle's going to have a huge year because of not only that I took him where he went, and I only have Juwan Johnson as a backup. But if Kittle has a huge year, then basically he counts almost like a number 2 receiver. All right. Not too bad, though. Overall, I'm pretty happy with it. Kiefer, let's see your team. Okay, so you got Bo Nix, and I think that's fine here. CJ Stroud, and then you did take a third quarterback, which is fine. Bo Nix is not like it's no guarantee here. Anthony Richardson, hey, in best ball, sure. Okay, so you only went 5 running backs. That's interesting. Now, that is pretty risky because Jacobs, solid. Henderson should be good. Monty's pretty solid. Najee is still risky. He might not even start the season on the active roster. We'll see. And then Kareem Hunt is your 5th. I probably would have gone at least a different running back, if not another running back, because Kareem Hunt, who knows? Well, let's see. All right, so you went at receiver, Lamb, Hill, Metcalf, Debo, Mims, Wilson, Cooks. Okay, Tyreek Hill, sure, we're taking a shot on Metcalf. Well, I did say I'm not in on the Steelers this year. Kind of not in on Debo either. Sorry. I do like Mims. Wilson is fine. Cooks, your last pick is fine. This is definitely a volatile room. You got 3 tight ends. I will say Ingram and Pitts and Henry. I don't know if you needed a third tight end there. They're solid. So yeah, a couple of picks I wouldn't have made with like DK and Debo, but it doesn't mean that they're terrible. I just probably would have gone another running back probably instead of your third quarterback or tight end. And then I think Tolu wanted to go over his. Where were you at? Is this you? Is this? I think you said you were at the 11, right? The 3 prints. Is that you? Just want to make sure you know. Dirty Ducky wants to know thoughts on Dalton Kincaid. I thought he would have a great season last season, and he did it. And they're like, "Oh, he was injured." I just think this is a team now. They specifically got rid of Diggs, and they're gonna just spread the ball around. I just think that's it. Dawson Knox is still there, and we don't want to think that Dawson Knox matters, but he does, because when he's there, he still gets some targets. He still takes up snaps. I think Dalton Kincaid is just gonna be fine. He's fine. Like, I don't think he's gonna break out. I thought that last year, and I think I put too much thought into it. Like, it's not because of the talent, it's just the way that offense runs. That tight end is not going to be fed. I just don't think. Now, if Khalil Shakir misses a lot of time, and that takes up that slot spot, yeah, maybe he gets better, but I still don't think he's going to have a huge season for a tight end. All right, so here we go. Tolu's team went Baker, Dak, and Tua. Very nice. Nothing wrong with that. Well, there's Achane. Let's assume he's fine. He could be fine. Connor, B-Rob, Blue, White, and Jalen Wright. The only thing I'll say, because you're fine with 6 running backs, and I've got no problem with any of those running backs specifically. Typically in best ball, you don't necessarily want to handcuff your own running back because that limits your upside, right? Jalen Wright, I would take on a team where I didn't have Achane. I would take a different kind of handcuff, like a Ray Davis or somebody. So that's the only thing. And then receiver, let's see, you went BTJ, Wilson, McLaurin, Odunze, Mooney, Brown. I like all of those picks. Yeah, you got Mooney a little bit after ADP. So Mooney injury is a little something to consider, but it's fine. I probably would have gone one more receiver instead of the 3rd tight end. So you waited, you got 3 tight ends. Well, I guess I see why you took 3 tight ends, because you really, really, really waited. Gesicki, Waller, and Otten. So yeah, I guess that's fine. And you got Tua to go with. I think what I would have probably done is, with Baker and Dak, I think you're fine. I wouldn't have taken that 3rd quarterback. I would have just taken another receiver. But overall, pretty good. And here's the good news. You only spent $1. I can go do it again. Yeah, Achane. I know. Achane's not dead, guys. Achane he's still alive. So I wouldn't worry too much about him just yet. Don't drop him off your draft board. Let's see what happens. All right. Let's see. So again, the good news is you can do this as much as you want. You got not much time left to do it. So when you get to the underdog lobby, and you're going to see a lot of these contests. By the way, somebody the other day was mentioning overlay. Some of these contests have been going on all off season, may not fill. Best Ball Mania, they always find a way to fill it at the end. But look, still a lot of room left here. But the marathon is not even half full. I entered a couple the other day myself just to get in on it. That one, you don't have to worry about playoffs and tournament. It's just flat out old school best ball, best total score after 17 weeks. So I suggest doing some of those marathons. You might have a better advantage there, honestly. The Eliminator, still, that's $100 though. I get that, the big dog. Some of these bigger contests, but here we go. The Puppy 3, only $5. Surprised it hasn't filled yet, but it will fill soon. So you want to get in on some of those, the Puppy 3 and the Little Dalmatian 2. It's probably going to be full by the time tonight is over. $1 entry. You don't have to max it if you want to. You get 101 entries, but just do a couple there and you get a chance to win potentially $20,000. So there you go. All right. And speaking of, let me have one more time to remind you, you put $5 towards anything. You can do it for the drafts. You can do it for the picks. You get $50 in bonus funds. This is for new customers. If you don't have an Underdog account yet, I suggest you get one. So just go and download the Underdog app. And when you do that, you sign up. And I'll try to show you something. When you do that, you also will get some bonus cash, and you also get some bonus picks, a free pick for yourself if you use this code, which I am about to show you any second once I can get it to work. Stalling for time because I'm trying to get it to work. Hold up. There it is. All right. Use code ENDGAME because that gets you up to $1,000 of bonus cash in your account. And then you get that extra $50 as soon as you spend $5 in bonus cash and a free pick. Use the pick because it's free. You don't have to wait for NFL. You don't have to use NFL. You can use it on WNBA, esports, Major League Baseball, anything you want. All right, guys. All right, we'll see you tomorrow night because we're going to do another Draft Lane draft. So don't forget about Draft Lane. Download that app and join some of those leagues. We'll talk more about that tomorrow, though. So I'll see y'all then.